for clicking on this thumbnail. I really appreciate it. Can you let me know why? Do you really want to beat big food? Because I want to beat big food. I wish I could literally beat big food, right? So this is my series. This is lesson number 4. These are all things that I do myself, and I keep looking for different avenues of how to do them as well, too. Lesson number 4 is try to add greens into almost every meal. So if you're not having a salad, and I know a lot of people, I've had a lot of students in my classes, I can tell they're thinking a salad's not going to fill them up, right? Mainly because everybody is so gung-ho to go so darn fast to eat because you don't have any time. So if you really don't believe that the salad will fill you up, try at least eat it first and then eat your other meal. But this lesson, I eat a lot of salads. I really do love salads. I cut them up really, really small so you have more flavor and more different tastes in every single bite. And I try to have as much kale and quinoa as I can. And then I always add some kind of green, a pesto, kind of a salad dressing. And then I also add more avocado oil to it to make it even more. So that only needs a little bit of the pesto, which is kind of expensive, right? So then I usually just use the avocado oil. But what I also do a lot is I will take a bag of kale or even the stalks and I'll put it in my food processor and then I'll whip it up and it becomes up really, really small, right? So then you can't really even taste it. So the biggest thing about kale is you have to eat it right away. If you put it in the refrigerator and let it sit for 3 or 4 days, it's going to get bitter. So whenever you buy it, which I hope you buy it often, and I also put all my greens into those sweet pepper bags that always has a little holes and they're perforated. And I was just telling a guy in Whole Foods tonight, because they water all of the food and water makes the food deteriorate faster. So don't wash it as soon as you get home. Only wash it as soon as you're going to eat it. And then I always put it in either those Debbie Meyer green bags or I put it in those other sweet pepper bags with little holes. And then if I start to see the outside of the bag start to sweat, then I know I switch the greens to other bags. Because once it starts to sweat, it's starting to deteriorate and it won't taste as good. And it doesn't have as much nutrients. So put them in bags, take them out of the plastic bags, the big sealed bags that they come in from the supermarket. Take them right out of that right away. Maybe put them in something else in your refrigerator, those bags, but don't leave them in those plastic bags. And if you do, leave them in there. Once you start, don't buy the ones that have any sweat inside of it because you know it's starting to deteriorate. So at Whole Foods, some of them are in bags and some of them are just out where they spray it. So I know they're spraying it so it looks better so that we buy it, but that still makes it deteriorate faster. And this guy said he actually believed that it would deteriorate faster without any water. But I don't think he knew what he was talking about. I think he was just telling me that. So put your greens in the food processor, get it really small, and then put it on everything. So if I make myself a lot of squash casseroles, they really are filling. They really clean you out the next morning. I don't have any problem with that area. But so make a squash casserole. It's not that hard either to make the squash casserole. You skin it, use a peeler, skin it. I usually try to buy the small delicata squash or small acorn squash. And then even if I buy a big spaghetti squash, you can probably have that like 4 big meals. And and it's always the sauce, right? Try different kind of sauces. And then, of course, read the labels. Don't buy the sauces from Safeway with the high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is the root of all evil. When my mother, which is part of what this channel is about, taking care of my mother, being a caregiver, and I changed. When she got high fructose corn syrup, like in Heinz ketchup, that's what made her mean and delusional, calling me an effing whore. It is the food supply feeding into Big Pharma. So I hope you all are aware of that. So just put the greens in the food processor, and then I put it on I don't want to cook that. So after I've cooked my squash casserole and cut it up and skinned it and put olive oil in there, a lot of olive oil or avocado oil, good olive oil, right? And then I'll put it in the bottom of my plate, and then I'll put the squash on top of it and mix it all up and stuff. I don't really taste the greens, and then you start getting the greens. So that's a good way of also getting the greens, right? So that's your lesson 4. Try to get as much greens as you possibly can. So try to be a nutritarian. Don't look at things that you're missing. Look at how good this will make you feel. So that's lesson number 4. If you have any questions, I love to hear it, and I really hope and sweet talk you to please like, comment, and especially subscribe. Take care. Thanks a bunch.